Dobry den,
Zdravejte.
and welcome back to our little Bulgarian adventure.
The weeks are passing as the year goes on. We're almost a third of the way through the year now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is. But we've been afflicted this week by rain.
Yes, another rainy week in Bulgaria, which is probably really good for the crops and everything.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
But really frustrating for getting out in the garden.
Yeah. And the dogs aren't enjoying this weather.
No, I don't
The
think
cats
they are
aren't.
very much.
We're not. We're due some sunshine, please, so
Yeah.
maybe. We did start the week with a little bit of sunshine, but it went downhill from there.
Yeah, so it's not been cold, but it has been very wet.
Yeah. But like we say, the ground needs it. It was a bit dry out there, so yeah.
But it did mean we could get on with the kitchen.
It did. We left it last week with me having laid most of the tiles on the kitchen floor. Well, I carried on with that this week, like this. I've now get to the end of the full tiles, but as I work, this is my view, which I think it's fair to say is very pleasant. It's now time to cut the tiles, and I've got this tile cutter which I brought across from England with me in the van, thinking this will cover most jobs I need to do. I got out the floor tile, tried to fit it in, and the floor tile is about 1 centimetre too long for the cutting surface. So back to the drawing board. And this was the solution. We looked at manual cutting devices. This one was a little bit more expensive, but with some money from Mum, thank you, for my birthday, I put it to it. And it's a wet saw with a diamond cutting blade. That should do all the cutting we need for all the floors, all the tiles, anything we need to do in the future. And it adds to my tool collection. So win-win. The weather's taken a bit of a turn for the worse. We have rain all last night. We've got a few more days of rain. Poor old dogs are getting it muddy. But it did cause us one slight problem. We've had to take the doors off and we haven't been able to put them back on overnight, so we've had to prop them up with a ladder. Now this is the outside of the kitchen doors. I'll show you what our problem is. We got to the very end where the edge strip goes, and we've had to put the clips in. Now the only way to put the edge strip down was to remove the doors from their hinges, put the edge strips down, but of course we now can't put the doors back on and close them because of the plastic clips. So we've had to wait for the adhesive to dry enough for us to take the clips out, and once that's done we'll be able to put the doors back on. This is the last part of the room that needs tiling. I've left this till last because it's got the steps in, which makes it a little bit trickier. We're looking for a nice way to edge the steps, and we think we found it. We've got this edge strip which will sit along the front of the step, and the tile will then butt up into it and give us that sort of finish all along the step. There's a very slight lip, but once we've got some adhesive in there, that'll be negligible, and that'll finish off the steps nicely. So that's the tiling completed. I fitted the edge strip around these steps as I said I was going to. We've also started grouting. The grout is in the joints, and we've started the first clean up. There's a few more stages to go before we have the floor we want. So this is how it's looking at the moment. The white residue is basically grout powder from the first time we've sponged off around the grouted joints. What we have to do is clean it again, let it dry, clean it again. Eventually we'll get to a clean floor. And that's the floor, having had its first wash. It's still a bit damp. As it dries, the colours in the tiles will lighten a little bit. But that's the general effect we've been going for. As Lynn likes to say, stone floor, very rustic. Next week we start the exciting stuff, installing the kitchen, hiding that wall and basically giving it to look how Lynn wants it to look. So that's the job for next week, so that's where we're going to leave it. So you can see that the tile cutting tool was actually well worth the money.
Yes, it was really useful. We didn't break one tile, did we?
No, I was really quite surprised. I was dreading cutting the tiles, I have to be honest. But that tool made it so much easier. And like I say, it's going to be useful for all the other tiling projects we have, so money well spent.
Yeah, definitely worth buying, that was.
And that little hitch with the door, well, these things happen, don't they?
Funny how they always seem to happen on a day where we do thunderstorms.
yeah, that doesn't help.
And the wind and the weather all coming from the east, which is the way that door was facing.
Yeah, but it's back on now, and we're watertight again. But we're getting to the exciting bit now, aren't we?
We are getting to the exciting bit. I'm so looking forward to next week.
This afternoon we're going shopping for the last bits and pieces we need to finish off the kitchen. We think. There's bound to be stuff we forget. But
yeah. We've written lists.
We have written lists. And we've started assembling the kitchen cupboards.
We have.
Now, it was a relatively inexpensive kitchen. And I found where they saved the money. It was on the instructions. This is the instructions for 6 kitchen cabinets. So, yeah.
There was no packing list, was there?
No packing list. Nothing was numbered. Nothing was labelled.
No. It was
had to get on with it.
Fun. Adam was a bit disillusioned when he first opened the box, going, "It's going to take me weeks to put this together."
But once he'd done one, they all fell into the same pattern. So.
And there was nothing missing.
Nothing. Well, we haven't put the doors on because we've moved them around. It's easy to put the doors on later. But so far, we found there's nothing missing.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain there's nothing missing.
I'm sure, but I don't want to come out and say there definitely wasn't, and there is. So.
Yeah. But yeah, it's quite strange after other things we bought here. I think I bought a cook pot once that had a booklet that was 42 pages long explaining on
and how to cook it,
how to use it,
presumably, in multiple languages. So.
Yeah. So just getting one A4, quite poorly photocopied sheet of instructions.
Yes. So I opened box 1 of 9 to find no instructions. I got a little worried. It was in box 9.
Yeah.
With all the screws, the hinges, etc., etc.
Yeah. But it was it has gone together quite well.
Yeah.
I mean,
but you'll see them in place next week, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
We were planning on showing you a bit of the garden this week, but the weather has been against us in terms of filming.
Yes, I walked around the woodland. Unfortunately, I was waiting for a sunny day and it just never arrived. Yeah. So I've walked around the woodland here. You can see just how it's growing now. We really do need to get out and trim, but when it's so wet, you just can't. So it's going to grow and grow a bit more before we actually get to it. But I mean, you can see it's lovely. It's just a bit untamed.
Yeah. And to be honest, I quite like all the wildflowers, even the dandelions and the dead nettles.
And they're good for the insects and the bees. So
yeah, there's not many flowers out at the moment. So
no.
But the longer we leave them, the better, really.
And also the garden is tidy bits and there's not so tidy bits. And again, it's because we can't get out there.
It was really well weeded about 2 weeks ago, but things have grown.
As they do.
Yeah.
But yes, we've just entered that period of ridiculous growth.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get on top of it as soon as we can get out there.
All the paths in the woodland were mowed 2 weeks ago, and they're now almost non-existent again. They've just disappeared.
But we'll remow them and then we'll re-mulch them, I suppose it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just to keep the grass down and give us established paths. And it'll look lovely.
Let's just stop Adam walking over all the bulbs. You need paths. If they're not marked, he walks over the bulbs.
If I haven't got my glasses on, I can't see close up. That's the problem.
So, our plan for this week is hopefully, I mean, we still do wet weather next
We
week.
are, yes, but that shouldn't stop us with the kitchen.
No.
It makes it a little bit tricky if I need to set up my saws or anything outside, but we'll find a way around it.
Yeah.
But the plan is get as much kitchen in as we can.
Yes, we're feeling quite excited about it all now.
We are, yes. So I might make my April deadline. We'll see.
And other plans, say we've just got a bit of shopping to do today.
Yeah.
Go over to Schumann.
Go to Schumann, DIY store, where we get the worktop cut to size, hopefully. Save me doing it. And the other little bits and pieces we need. Something we thought we'd do is, over the almost 2.5 years that we've been doing this, we've been asked various questions, and we answer every comment. If you put a comment below, you will get a response. But one of the questions was, why on earth do you do this? When we meet people and we say we've got a YouTube channel, they look at us and they go, oh, why? Well, why have we got one?
It totally started out as just an update facility for friends and family in the UK when we first came over here.
Yeah, we didn't want to have to say everything about a dozen times every time we
spoke to people.
So we could just say, if you want to know exactly what we've done and what it looks like, watch the video.
Yeah. It was an easy way of communicating with a lot of people we'd left behind.
Yes. And from there it's kind of snowballed. People interested in doing something similar, people who have done something similar, people who just have a general interest in people doing something like this. We've got lots of people who watch us. We're up to almost 1,000 subscribers.
Which is amazing.
Not sure how.
No.
We're just a couple of old fogies in the woods. But yes, it's come along nicely. We've got a nice little community built up of people that we have regular conversations with through the comments.
And it's allowed us to meet other people out here,
yes,
which has been brilliant. And we do regularly go try and visit anybody that we make contact with that is
yes,
actually living over here.
Yes, the share of information and the just meeting up with people, the building up of places you can go, people you can visit, friends. Yes, it's brilliant for that.
And hopefully we plan to do a bit more of that in this summer.
Yes.
Certainly in places to go and visit. We've broken the back of our house renovation now, I think, so we can have a little bit more time exploring this beautiful country. Absolutely.
So there'll be more of that in the videos, but that was just basically why we started it, and we carried on because my mum watches. No, there's so many people now interested in what we're doing that it doesn't seem fair to just stop. Despite what Lynn says.
So if there's any things that you want to ask us, or any questions you'd like to know, or anything you'd like us to do a video on, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll try and fit it in.
We'll try. We're not promising if it's abseiling down the Bulgarian monument or something. I'm not doing that.
No. You did that once years ago.
That was a hospital, yes.
You're not doing it again.
But if there's things you want to know, things you want to see, just general questions, ask away.
Yeah, and we'll try and update you in any future videos.
Well, I think that kind of brings us to an end for this week.
Yeah, it does. The sun has just poked its head out, so
it's trying.
We might pop out.
You never know. We've got the shopping this afternoon, so. Yeah. But hopefully we'll have some nicer weather and we can show you the progress we've made outside as well as the progress inside.
Yeah. Yes, in next week's video.
Fingers crossed. So until then, it's time to say,
stay safe.
Be well.
Do skoro.
Do skoro.